Good morning. Good morning, Helen. Sorry, just getting a couple of things set up here. We are going to do a flow this morning for our kidney and urinary bladder meridian line. And in yin yoga, you know that we usually work the hips and the low back. It also works with acupuncture and acupressure theories. So this morning the flow is for the kidney line, which basically, to show you, runs in the inside line of your legs. And the urinary bladder meridian is its pair, and basically it runs down the backs of your legs and down either side of your spine. So there'll be some back work this morning. So as always, listen to your body, and if something doesn't feel right, remember I give you lots of modifications, and always come out. And if we are in a back bend, simply lying with your forehead on your stacked hands is an awesome and acceptable go-to slight back bend in and of itself. Let's start, as we always do, with our centering. Just going to move blind a little bit here. There you go. So come to a comfortable cross-legged seat, one foot in front of the other if you like, or if you'd like to start on your back, then feel free to do that as well. If you are going to lie back, remember your feet are about hip width apart, so bend your knees. Have the inner knees resting together. That's nice and easy on your low back. You can have your hands, if you're seated, in your lap, on your belly if you're lying back. They can be on your thighs, palms up or down if you're seated, or by your sides, palms up or down. Alternatively, if you like, on your back, another lovely hand position I particularly like is one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears, and then let them slide down your back away from your ears, and tuck your chin in slightly. That'll lengthen the back of the neck, letting your eyes fall softly shut if you haven't already done so. Just settling in now onto your mat, into your space. So let go of the morning thus far. Let go of today, whatever is in store. Let go of the worries, the lists. Just tell yourself that this next hour is just for you, your body, but also your mind and your spirit. Do a body scan now. Take note if there are any areas on any level, physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional issues, areas that may arise as you take this moment to scan. And just be sure that we're not going to dwell on whatever arises, but we acknowledge it or them. Maybe forgive. Maybe create some space. And when we check in again at the end of the class with how we're feeling, we may notice things have subtly shifted in perspective or sensation. And now begin to notice your breath. Don't change anything, just become aware of it. Whereabouts in your chest cavity are you breathing? How fast are you breathing? Are you breathing through your nose or your mouth, or a little of both? So begin to breathe in and back out again through your nose. Pull that air in past the rings of your nostrils. Trace its path as it flows up your nose, down your throat, into your lungs, and then back out that same pathway. Feel the swirl past the rings of the nostrils as the breath exits the body. Notice the difference in temperature there, right at the rings of the nostrils. how the air is cooler when it first enters, and it's warmer as it exits. Something we know, but we rarely take time throughout our day to pay attention to. And so this is just another point that you can bring your mind to. On another inhale, we're going to start to even out your inhales with your exhales. So on that next inhale, put a count to 2 or 3, maybe 4, whatever seems to fit. And then as you exhale, use that same steady count. Be sure you match the numbers to your breath. Don't force your breath to be what you think it should be. Allow it to deepen naturally. If you're finding that the numbers don't really work for you, there's always that little mantra, little phrase that you can match to your inhales and exhales. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Match that phrase to your inhales and your exhales. Use the I am part of it or not. Just simply say, breathing in, breathing out. Matching that to your inhales and your exhales. Allow that breath to deepen as it wants to. Notice how the belly is maybe moving a little more as the diaphragm's working. Getting to the bottom of our lungs where the air tends to stagnate. Often when we are anxious, we tend to only breathe in the upper chest. So this is another way of calming. Is this wonderful yogic breath that we're working on. On another inhale, pay attention to your rib cage now. Notice the expansion in 4 directions. The fronts lift and separate. The backs kind of poof out. If you're lying down, you'll feel them press into your mat. Go to the side ribs on another inhale. Notice how they expand as well. A slight lift in the armpit area. Watch that pearly white rib cage of yours contract as you exhale. Now go deeper. Look at your lungs. Pink and healthy, virtual sponges. They fill up the majority of your chest cavity. Watch them expand in those same 4 directions, knowing that they're turning a glowing pink as the fronts, the backs, the inner and the outer sides thicken, taking in air. Watch them contract on the exhale. Know that they turn slightly blue as they expel waste from every cell in your body. It's an amazing process, this intake, nourishment, expelling of waste. Send those lungs some gratitude for all this work that they do for you all day, all night. This is your yogic breath. It's the main one that we use in yin, and it helps anchor our minds inside our body. It gives our mind something to focus on. And this breath also is your guide. It acts as a gauge. It'll let you know if you're in too far, maybe working too hard or pushing something we should never do. If your breath becomes ragged, then you have to ask yourself how you can back off or modify so that you can always come back to this most important part of any style of yoga, and that's your breath. Links your body to your mind. Now, if you're lying back, make your way to one side. Pause there for a moment. Everyone can blink their eyes open and close this morning, or just to wake up a little bit. If you're seated, you'll want to lift your legs, straighten them out, give them a little bounce, maybe in a rock from the top of the hips. When you're ready, from your back, push into your mat with your hand. And actually, if you're on your back, you can just turn over onto your belly. Once your legs feel good from seated, swing around and come right down onto your tummies. We're going to start off with Sphinx pose this morning. So you're on your tummy like this. You can turn your elbows out to the side, stack your hands, and make a nice resting place for your pillow. So we'll start off there. Let me make sure that I'm move my mat just a little bit further away from the camera. There we go. Notice the natural curve in your low back here. So we're gonna work with that a little bit. We'll do it in stages. So the first stage, my timer ready to go here. The first stage, take your head off your hands and tuck your elbows beside your ribs like this, like a little grasshopper legs. So your elbows are sticking up, your palms are down under your shoulder heads. Your head is just barely off the mat, so your nose is only a couple of inches off your mat. Here, you want to relax your bum, relax your legs. Notice that there's a little bit of work in the low back to get just this much of your torso, which isn't very much, just your head and your shoulders basically, collarbones off the mat. If this feels like it's enough and the tops of your feet are relaxing on your mat, if this is enough to stay here to start this morning, then stay here. If you're okay and your back feels pretty good, then slide forward onto your forearms. Kid watching TV pose, Sphinx pose, just like the Sphinx in Egypt. Make sure that you have good alignment here. So get your elbow under your shoulder, so don't have your arm forward or back, just nicely stacked there. So line up your forearm with your side edge of your mat. You have options with your hands. Palms can be down, fingers spread, or you can bring your palms together in prayer, and you've got kind of a triangle shape then with your forearms. Elbows are still planted nicely under your shoulders. You can even clasp opposite elbows if you like. So any one of those three, pick one that seems to give you the most stability and comfort. And then don't let your head drop. Keep it in line like a string of pearls, I always say. Somebody's got one end of the string of pearls that's sitting on a dresser and they're just picking it up. So you've got that lovely gradual arc to your spine. And so that goes right to the base of your skull here. So don't let that head drop. Look in front of you about 1 meter, maybe 3 feet. And then close your eyes. Relax your bum. Relax your legs. If this becomes too much that you can't get that lovely yogic breath back, then go back to that baby cobra one, where you can rest your ribs down and have your arms by your sides like that. Easy does it. Remember, in yin, we always work with our edge. So we come into a pose where we're feeling a little bit of discomfort, but it's never pain. Because we hold these poses for minutes rather than breaths, we don't stay with any kind of pain. A little bit of discomfort, yes. We're not too happy where we are. And the reason for that is this is the way that we target fascia, connective tissues. They're different than muscles. The way we work muscles, as you know, is repetition, working, warm, sweating. But with yin, we're being still at that edge, a comfortable discomfort. And that's the way you can safely target this kind of materials made up of a lot of collagen. So they're plastic in nature. And so we can't do repetition and working, pulling, or else we will pull a ligament, injure ourselves. So the second principle, or the second tattva, as they're known, is this stillness. When we're at this edge, we try to be physically still, try not to back away from the discomfort unless there's pain, as I said, and then you definitely do. But you try to stay with this discomfort. And you're still there. You're not fidgeting. You're not coming in and out of a pose all the time. Unless there's the pain, as I mentioned, then you definitely do back off. But you might find that this edge disappears. Maybe you can go a little deeper. Maybe right now you put just a slight pressure in your elbows and notice that that increases the back bend immediately. And the other component to the stillness is inner stillness. Being aware of what's happening inside you on multiple levels. Physically, yes, but also being that observer of perhaps emotions that arise. At this point, we're going to add the bend into our neck if you like. Pull your chin in a little bit like you're tucking it, and then lift from the chin. Imagine you've got a tennis ball behind your neck that you're rolling up and over. You can hear how it changes my voice. We're pulling into the ligaments now in the front of our neck, which tend to weaken as we age. And especially these days with all our handheld devices and computer work on and off our jobs, our heads are forward an awful lot more than they ever were, so those ligaments and muscles in the front of our neck are weakening even more. So this is a good way to stimulate those, but be careful. If you feel any dizziness, bring your head back into line. This also stimulates the thyroid gland. Now take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale we're going to turn our elbows out to the sides. Come down, stack your hands with your favorite hand on top. Make a nice pillow to rest your one side of your head on. Puff your low back out with your breath. That helps to release it. And then you have options. You can just stay still, or you might like to bend your legs at the knees and wave them back and forth, windshield wiper style. Put a little motion across the pelvis and low back. Or you also might like, whatever way you're facing, pull that same leg up alongside you. So you've got one leg bent and one leg straight. Let that all go. Anytime we do a back bend, we are stimulating the kidney line as well. Kidneys themselves are in the mid-back. Let that leg slide back on down when you're ready. We're going to push up onto all fours. Crack, crack of my elbows. I'll just do a couple of cat-cows here. That also helps to release our back. So arch your back, drop your head, tuck your tailbone, look for your belly button. Now go the other way, drop your belly, spread the sit bones, look up. Do 2 or 3 more, match an inhale to one movement and an exhale to the other, going at your own pace. And when you're ready, end with a flat back. This next one is saddle pose, and there's lots of ways you can modify it. The full pose is sitting between your heels, or you can sit on your heels. Doesn't matter. If you sit on your heels, you might get a better and a more deeper back bend, so feel free to do that. You might not go back as far. If you're going to sit between your heels, then you're getting that nice inner rotation as well, which is nice for these the kidney line and as well as the hips. And then we'll start to lean back. If this is just not going to happen for your knees, then one of the modifications you can do is sit on a block. If you don't have a block at home, get a couple of books maybe, a cushion or whatever, so that your hips are elevated and right away the pressure is lessened on your knees. It also can be tough on the ankles, so that also can help take some of the pressure off your ankles. So there's that. You can take a little quilt or a towel and put it behind your knees. That also helps to cushion the knee joint, so it keeps it a little bit less compressed so intensely. If that's still not working, then you can do one leg at a time. Or you can repeat Sphinx again, the one that we just did. So one leg at a time, you'd sit and we'll pull back our right leg and leave the left leg straight. And if this makes you quite crooked, if the leg's out a little bit to the side like that, then sit on something again. Elevate your hips. It's so important with this one so that you can take pressure off your knees. Okay, and if your leg won't bend too much, then do what it wants and take it as far just to that edge. If the knee's up in the air like this, put something underneath it. That's too precarious for your knees, so rest. So lots of things you can use in and around. Grab a cushion, even that would work nicely, nice and soft under that knee if it's sticking up like that. Okay. Same thing at the ankle. If you've broken your ankle or badly sprained it, then maybe it doesn't want to turn all the way. Then go to where you can just feel a little bit of a pull on that ankle and not too intense. All right, so I'll start timing us. We're just here for 3 minutes, I think it is. Yeah, just a short one. So at the 1.5 minutes, if you're doing one leg, I'll tell you to switch. Probably you don't want to lean too far back if you're doing one leg at a time, but well, it's your practice. You do what you want since we're not here for too long. If you've got both legs bent, then maybe you come down onto your elbows. Nice to have, this off for a moment. It's nice to have a block or something you can put behind your shoulder blades if you know that you do get back all the way, and then that keeps your chest lifted and keep that arc in your low back. That's very important too. Hands can be by your sides. Relax your shoulders. They can be out to the sides if you like that nice open chest pull. Your head is going back a little bit, so you're getting a little bit of thyroid stimulation again. A little bit of pull through the throat, perhaps. Breathe in. Breathe out. Some of you might find, if you've been doing saddle for a while, that it's nice to have your arms over your head even. Clasp a wrist, perhaps. Be very mindful that your knees are not lifting off the floor, off your mat. They stay in touch with your mat. Now, if you've got one leg bent, use your core. You're going to push yourself back up. Once you get all the way up, lean to one side. Straighten out that right leg. If you're on 2 legs bent, you just stay where you are. You don't move for the whole 3 minutes. Bend in your left leg if you were doing one leg at a time, and then ease back. Remember, use those props. Prop underneath your knee, behind your knees if that's what you did. You don't have to go very far back. That just increases the back bend, but it also will increase the pull. It's kind of like a double runner stretch that you're doing, or a runner stretch if you've got just one leg bent. If you're not going all the way back and you're resting on your forearms, you can keep your head looking forward, or you can let it go back and stimulate your thyroid gland, tug on those ligaments in the back of the neck. Breathing in through your nose, back out through your nose. Relaxing those legs. The more you can relax, the more you're getting the tugs that we want through these lines. Feel that inner line of your leg getting a lovely tug as well as pressure. Time is the third tattva. These holds for minutes with our muscles as soft as possible. And now everyone can, on an inhale, tighten your belly, pull your core in, pull your tummy in, push into your hands, leave your head back if it's back, help yourself all the way up. Keep going if you've got both legs bent, or bend in your other leg so that you can get to all fours again. Once you're on all fours, be still. Enjoy that delicious, spearminty feeling of heat and cool flowing through your legs, your knee joints, ankles, hips, low back. The blood rushes into these areas, much like deep tissue massage that is flushing out toxins. And then once again, go through some cat-cows here, arching your back, dropping the belly, looking up, push into your hands. Put a little bit of muscle work here just to help release our back. And then after you've done 3 or so, come back down onto your tummies. We'll do one more round of Sphinx and take it a little bit deeper this time. So we'll go right into Sphinx here. So you take your head off your hands and we'll come onto your forearms just like we did before. Remember the alignment. Elbows are under your shoulders. Line up your forearms with your side edges of your mat, palms flat, fingers spread. If you did it that way before, maybe you want to try a different arm position this time. Remember the other two were palms together in prayer, so you have that nice triangle solid shape. Elbows are still under your shoulders, or you can clasp opposite elbows as well and keep that nice stability. Remember, don't drop your head here. Look in front of you on the floor about 1 meter, 3 feet. Close your eyes. Breathe in, find your breath. Breathe out. You can enhance this pose with your breath. Start at the base of your spine, which is your tailbone. As you inhale, travel up the back of your spine, pulling that energy of yours with your breath up to the base of your skull. Now exhale and travel down the front of your spine, all the way back to the front of the tailbone. Circle around in your mind's eye. Breathe up the back of your spine to the base of your skull. Exhale down the front of your spinal cord, deep in your body. Now at this point, if you want to increase this, you have lots of options. Your legs are basically together. You can open them, spread them apart, and you'll notice right away that does increase the back bend. If that's plenty for your back, stay here. If it's too much, go back to the legs together. If you want to take the pose deeper with your arms as well, put your legs together. Wing your hands out so the fingers are pointing to the side edge of your mat and your thumbs to the top edge, and push into your palms, straightening up like this. So you straighten into your arms. You might not be able to come all the way up, or you might. This is seal pose, and you can see why we look like seals. Maybe you walk your hands back because your back is feeling quite nice this morning. You have options with your arms here. Push into them, rise up out of the shoulder girdle. Relax your bum though, don't use it. Relax your legs. So your arms are working here. Or you can use these arms, still using the muscles, but use them as posts and drape down into the shoulder girdle like that. If you missed it, here's rising up or draping down into the shoulder girdle. Either one is acceptable. Each one has subtle differences, so if you've not tried it before, try both and figure out which one does the best for you. And if your back is feeling nice and bendy this morning, then open the legs. That'll increase it. Some of you might find, if you've been doing yin for a while, you can bend the legs. Find that sweet spot where they just kind of float there and the bum and the legs don't have to do any work to hold them up there. Steady breathing. If it becomes too much, if your breath becomes ragged, back off. Go to one of those multiple other poses. Resting on your forearms, in Sphinx, or even resting on your stacked hands if your back has had enough. For this last minute, we're going to bring it into our neck again. So tuck your chin in and then lift your chin up to the ceiling. Be careful that you didn't increase engage the bum or the leg muscles. A little bit of jaw work if you like. One of my yoga teachers in the past would have us do this from time to time. Open your mouth and you'll know that you can move your head back a little bit further and then gently close your teeth back together. don't overdo it, just gently. So don't move your head back too far. And that helps with TMJ. Steady breathing along your spine. Almost done. Relax the bum, relax the legs. Now inhale deeply. And on the exhale, turn those elbows out to the sides. Come all the way down. Stack your hands with the other hand on top that does not feel natural. Turn your head the opposite direction. Puff your low back out with your breath. And then if you'd like another release, take the same one you did before, whether it was bending at the knees and windshield wipers back and forth, or maybe it was drawing that leg up alongside you the same way that you're facing, or maybe it was just being still, and that's okay too. Take your time. Let it all go. Back bending can have all kinds of anxiety arise from sometimes, fears. It's all gone. And then push up onto all fours, letting your legs float back on down first. Of course, swing your legs to one side or cross at the ankles and come to a seated position. So we've done 3 back bends. Now we'll do some forward bends for our low back. So those back bends we did are actually great if you have any disc issues, because they do help to realign the sac of fluid that's behind between each of your bones. They help to push that back into line. Forward bends, not always so good for disc issues. So if you have disc issues, low back issues that you shouldn't round here for these next ones, keep your tummy pulled in and just lean with a flat back. Don't round. Keep that tummy pulled in. That helps protect it. And just lean from the hips. Okay. So the first one we're going to do, our feet come together, knees flare out to the side like this. This one can aggravate sciatica as well, so you might want to take a little quilt or a towel if you've got it, and then just sit your sit bones on the very edge of it, so you've got that slight lift and tilt forward. Feet are not in close, they're far away. You've got this nice diamond shape here. Blocks can be great, cushions can be great to cushion underneath thighs. Okay, so support if it's too much into the hips or bothers the knees at all. If you're not using your block under your knee, you can bring it inside and then you can lean forward on it. We'll reset our timer here. So take an inhale and then start to lean forward on your exhale. You're not going to pull yourself forward. Remember, you lean just until you feel that slight kind of discomfort, tugging sensation. Here you can let your head dangle. If you're not going to rest your head on a block, you can let it dangle. But you can maybe set it on your feet and rest it on the block like that. Let your arms go wherever they just naturally seem to want to. Maybe they're inside that diamond. Maybe they're on the outside of the diamond shape of your legs. So your feet are not close to your groin. You have that lovely diamond shape. Let your arms be heavy. Remember, the block has different sides, so maybe you move it down at some point, or maybe that's where you started. You can even rest your elbows and then rest your head in your hands if you like, if it's not good to have your neck dangling. Steady breathing. In through your nose, back out through your nose. Remember, you can breathe along your spine here as well. Start at the base where the tailbone is. Travel up the back of your spine. Notice how it's got that rounding forward now, if you are rounding the low back. Exhale, travel down the front of your spine. Notice the compression now. Before we were pulling apart the front of our vertebrae. Now we're compressing the front and we're pulling apart the back. Notice a slight pull perhaps down the backs of your legs. Forward bends also often target hamstrings as well. And that's the pathway of the urinary bladder meridian, is down the backs of your legs. It actually starts at the inner corner of your eye. It travels up. It's the only one of the 6 low body meridians that goes through the brain. The governor vestal does as well, but we don't work with that in yin. And then at the crown of the head, it surfaces and flows down either side of the back of your skull and down either side of your spine. Connects with the kidney, the urinary bladder, resurfaces right around the hamstring insertion, center of your butt cheek, and flows down the back of each leg. And it actually ends where the kidney meridian begins, in your baby toes. So if you've ever seen an acupuncturist for treatment for a kidney or even urinary bladder issues, and you get a needle in your baby toe and you think, what the heck? That's because that's one of the trigger points and where each of these begins or ends. Just a few more breaths here. Now on your next inhale, slowly uncurl. Come all the way back up. Exhale when you get all the way up. Leave your legs where they are. Lean back on your hands. That will release your hips quite nicely. And then when you're ready, set your foot soles down about the width of your mat and just do some nice windshield wipers. Easy does it. Think of the inside of one knee and the outside of the opposite knee coming onto your mat. When you've done a few of those, straighten out those legs, give them a little bounce. And then for this one, next one, we're going to, you might want to sit just a little bit at an angle so you can pull in your right leg. Let's turn the other way maybe so you can see me. Again, sit your sit bones on the edge of something if you have any kind of sciatica issues. Just have that slight lift of your pelvis. So pulling your right leg, this is called half butterfly, but we bring our leg in closer. The knee is going out to the side, so feel a little bit of a pull along the inside lines of your legs. Just wish I could turn this a little bit so that it feels like it's just a little bit too high. Yeah, so that leg is going out to the side a bit, and then this leg, the left leg, is going out to this side. So you've got that pull down the inner lines of your legs, so important for the targeting the kidney meridian. So then we're going to start to lean forward, and remember your props. If your leg doesn't like being out or bent like this, you don't have to have it bent in all the way. Bend it to where your knee will let you. Put a prop underneath it to give it some cushion. So then we're going to turn ourselves over that left leg. So feel how that twist happens in your spine, and then start to lean over that extended left leg. So relax this right leg. The tendency is to clench your quad. So take a moment to think about that. If you can't seem to let it relax, use your hand. Massage your thigh. Get it to relax. Then bring your hand back over here and lean over this extended left leg. If this puts too much pressure in the back of your hamstring, feed your hands beneath it and take some of the pressure off the back of the knee like that. If that's not enough of a lift, put a cushion under the back of the knee. If you're not using a block under this leg, put a block under the back of that knee. Leaning forward. Remember, we're not pulling. Our arms are just loose, relaxed. Head, let it go if it's okay for the back of your neck. And then remember, we work with our edge. So you'll find that there's all kinds of tugging happening. The back of your leg, probably in the outer rotation in that right hip that's happening. You can feel that pull. Maybe there's a pull across your sacrum. Notice there's a slight twist here. Maybe there's a bit of a squish feeling on the left side of your spine and a pull on the right side of your spine. Take time here to examine the shape of those tugs. I love how Sarah Powers describes marinating in a pose, but feeling the shapes. Maybe they're vertical, these tugs, maybe horizontal. Maybe there's a diagonal shape or a roundness to some of these pulls that we experience. Maybe there's a vibration. Maybe a temperature. Even a color. Steady breathing, always in through your nose, back out through your nose. On your next inhale, slowly come back up. Exhale when you get all the way up. Lift this right leg out, up and out, straighten it out, swivel yourself around so you have the right leg going down your mat now, and bend your left leg out and move it out to the side. Inhale, swivel your body over that extended right leg now and lean forward over it. Relax your left leg. Reach over, massage it a little bit if that quad doesn't want to let go. Notice here, it's lovely when we do these folds over one leg and then the other. Remember where you ended on the first side and where you're leaning forward now? You're not as far forward. But know that through the 3 minutes of this fold, as long as you're not pushing or forcing, that you're just easing into this forward bend, staying still at that discomfort, breathing, but be aware how the body lets go. It's magical. And then if we just take our time, have patience, which can apply off our mat as well, can't it? That we get these magical moments and revelations of, wow, what your body can do. It's taken many years of work and stress and not living on the floor. All kinds of maybe other physical activities that tighten us up. But yin is magical in so many levels. It can really help to show you that you can find some flexibility again. And usually with better and easier movement, then we're happier humans. And we learn also in yoga about not just physical flexibility and patience, steadiness, breathing in, breathing out. A thought for this morning, which I nearly forgot, while you're marinating in this pose: things outside neither liberate nor bind you. Only your attitude toward them does that. If you feel bound, you are bound. If you feel liberated, you are liberated. Very interesting for our time of solitude and isolation to think about our attitude towards it. On your next inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, when you get all the way up, lift this top leg, straighten it out. Lean back on your hands now and just enjoy that feeling. And then we'll bring our legs together and we'll do another forward bend for the back here. So again, you're sitting your sit bones just on the edge of something, if you like. Inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to lean forward. Walk those hands. Let them just hang, your arms, that is. Remember, you can put something beneath the back of your knees. If this is too much on the back of the knees, put a block beneath there. Put a cushion beneath the backs of your knees. If the backs of your knees just need maybe your hands to take some of the pressure off, then that's okay. Remember, if you have disc issues, keep your tummy in. Don't round in your low back. Just lean from the hips. Keep that low back nice and flat. You can relax your shoulders still and let your arms be heavy. You can let your head go if it's okay for your neck, but keep that low back flat if there's disc or any other issues there. If you're okay to round, then by all means round. Let your head go. Let your arms be heavy. Remember, we're not pulling. We're just relaxing, finding that edge, that place of comfortable discomfort. And then be still there. Try not to back away from it. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel the delicious tug from the backs of your heels up your legs, or maybe it's a downward pull that you're feeling. Feel that pull down either side of your spine, right from the base of your skull to the base of your tailbone, the base of the spine at your tailbone. Steady breathing. Remember, you can enhance the pose with your breath. Breathe along your spine. Inhale up the back. Exhale down the front of your spine. So important to strengthen our kidney chi. Remember, our bodies are 60 to 70% water. And an interesting fact that is from Sarah Power's book, so it's US gallons, but still is amazing. So they're a little smaller than Canadian gallons, but our kidneys filter 15 gallons of blood per hour. Our kidneys filter 15 gallons of blood per hour. It's amazing when you think about what they do to clean our blood. So very important to drink water, as we know, but important to strengthen this kidney chi. Kidney is also in the Taoist theories. It houses our Jing, which is our essence, energy, who we are, what makes us us and unique. And Jing pervades all organic life. It's the essence of growth and of decline. And the urinary bladder meridian is our longest meridian. There's 67 acupressure points in it. And it's the only one, as I mentioned, that goes through your brain, which I always find quite fascinating, the link between Western ideas and Eastern ideas goes through your brain. And often if you have a headache, the first question you should ask yourself is, how's my water intake? And I love how the urinary bladder meridian path is going through our brain, and we also know that that's a trigger for maybe we haven't had enough water. body is, the health of our kidney meridian directly impacts the general health of our low back, reproductive organs, the urinary system, the lower intestinal tract, all the fluid systems in our body, including joint lubrication, eyes. Just a few more breaths here. See if you're holding on to anything. Relax your jaw. Let your head go. Now on your next inhale, slowly sit back upright and just stay in that L shape for several breaths here. Sometimes we get a bit of a head rush. Good. And then we'll do reverse tabletop here. So bend your legs, plant your feet, put your arms, your hands behind you, and lift up. It gives you a little bit of work into your legs, your arms. Look forward. You can even do a bit of hammock here, so lower your hips a little bit, swing them back and forth. Might feel nice across the back, and then set those hips down. And then we'll come down onto our backs. Arms are going to come out to a T. You might like to, if you've taken a hoodie off, slip it on. Have a quilt handy maybe to eventually cover up for Shavasana. So arms are going to come out to a T. We're going to bend in both of our legs. Cross our left knee on top of the right. See if you can hook the calf like so or not. Just fake it. Have your outer foot against your calf there, no problem. Drop those knees. You might want to scoot your right hip under a little bit. Drop them over to the right. Try not to let this shoulder come up too high like that. Try to keep it lower down. I'm going to move the camera a little bit lower here. Sorry. Just so you see. Maybe a little too low. You want to keep both your shoulders on the mat. So drop those knees over, start timing us. If you like, put a cushion or a block under those knees to rest on. Turn your head and look to the outstretched left hand. Think about your left ear. That left ear could come onto your mat, and that'll bring the twist into your neck as long as it's okay for your neck. If it bothers your head or your neck to turn your head, then don't. With the weight of the legs in twisted roots like this, you don't need to reach down. So enjoy that open chest feeling that you've got here. Feel how your spine is twisting here. Twists release tension that may have built up over the last hour. So for that reason, they're often at the end of a yoga class. But they also are so beneficial on the nervous system level as well. Inhale your legs back to the center. Undo them. Plant your feet on your mat and then push into those feet so that you lift your hips into the air, realigning your spine, and then set your hips down. Cross your knee the other way, so right knee on top of left. Hook the calf if you like or not. Scoot that left hip under. Let those knees drop slowly over to the left now. Look out towards the right hand. Think about your right ear now. It could come onto your mat, bringing the twist nicely into your neck vertebrae. So twists work on the nervous system level as well. They're helping to restore the equilibrium between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. That's that fight or flight, or rest, digest. And there's been a little bit of upheaval between those two when we're in poses that we're not too happy in and we want out. And we think maybe the instructor's forgotten to time us, and we tell ourselves all these stories. So this twisting can help to reset everything and give us that feeling. Steady yogic breathing still. In through the nose, back out through the nose. Now inhale your knees back up to the center. Once more, undo them, plant your foot soles, push into them, lift your hips into the air so you realign your spine, and then set your hips back down. Bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, give yourself a hug, rock over that spine, massaging. Take your time. We did a lot of forward bends and a lot of back bends here, longer holds. Plant your palms on your knees and push those knees in big circles a couple of times one way, 3 times if you like. Same number of times the other way, massaging that low to mid back. Let those legs come on down. Stretch them out one at a time, or take Shavasana with your legs bent if you prefer. Arms are by your sides, palms up or down, whatever you like. Take in a deep breath. Let it go with a sigh. One more time, deep breath in. Let it go. Sink into your mat now, just like you're lying in some warm sand. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Fill your body with a warm, healing light now of relaxation. From your toes all the way to your scalp. You're warm, heavy, filled with this glowing light of relaxation. From your toes all the way to your scalp. Let your breath now be whatever it wants to be. Float away to a happy place or stay within, watching. But whatever you do choose, take rest now. Let your body absorb the benefits of this practice in Shavasana. We are just about out of time, so I will say namaste to you. And thank you for joining me this morning. Continue for another minute or two on your own just to rest, let your body absorb the benefits of the practice. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.